this way. Got to keep an eye out. You have to be very aware in these cars, because if someone's sitting in these cars, sometimes they open their side door without even thinking. There's always a chance of cars coming in, so you've got to be very situationally aware when you're driving down here. But it is nice to be on roads that can go at full speed. And this is the power of the mobility scooter. I can go through here and onto this road. I know I mention it nearly every time, but I absolutely adore the fact that I have a rear-facing camera. Actually, we'll go here. I think it's this street I want to go on. It takes me all the way up to the top. Yeah. Okay. As you can see, it's getting dark now. I prefer to do these continuous recordings. I know it cuts off after 20 minutes, but 20 minutes and 16 seconds is when it cuts off. But and I know that cuts off my talking now and then, but it doesn't really matter. People know what I'm doing here. And there's no way I could remember every time to shut it down just before the And I've looked into having a continuous. I mean, I don't think you can do a continuous swabbing. I think it's a limitation of Android and the. But I love going out. I love taking you all with me. So we'll go straight down here. The lights haven't kicked in yet. They will soon. I like these lights underneath the thingies, seats. They're kind of cool. Although they must, if they break, they must be a bitch to get to. I mean, seriously. Ooh, yeah, I would think, damn. Because that, I mean, that looks like granite or something. That looks like stone. That, they must have to get it from underneath because that is heavy looking. It really is heavy looking. Bothers me. That does now. Beep beep, said the Jace. Yeah, by the time I come out to the shop, it will be properly dark, probably. Actually, you know, with it being, it's not a bank holiday Monday, but I don't know whether the Tesco might not be open. It might be on Sunday times. I'm not sure. We'll find out when we get there. I may have come all this way for nothing, but hey, if I did, then it'll be it's an interesting little wander. But Morrison's is open, so it should be. If Morrison's is open, then well, I didn't even think of that. With it being Easter weekend, it's Monday. Even though this video won't go up for like many days. We'll find out. I mean, it's still open. It's not there. Lesson learned. It seems kind of empty around here. There's people around there, so I'm hoping. The only time I'll turn off the video is when I get to the actual place I'm going to be paying. Looks open. Yay. Turn down the speed. I always turn the speed down to about 2. Oh no, it's not open. It is not open. Think about it, Jace. What do we do now? Obviously, oh well. I should have thought about it. Anyway, we wanted to come out to test some stuff anyway, so I'll just do a Tesco shop tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'll be coming out for a Tesco shop. So let's just turn this all up, back on, turn the lights on. By the time I get to the park, I would think that it'd be quite dark. So we'll take a nice leisurely stroll over to the park, because that's the place that's going to be the darkest. So yeah, I keep thinking, I don't really celebrate Easter. Like I said on another video, which will come before this one. When you live alone and like me, you don't celebrate a lot of the holidays like other people do. I don't have a family to celebrate Christmas or anything like that. It was always something I did with Paolo or something I would do with my mum. Without them, well, there's nothing. It's like a non-thing. It's like they're doing a lot of work on the museum. Okay. I always am kind of sad about this building here. And if you look at it there, that's the old library. Now, I don't think it's actually used as a library anymore. I think it's closed off and you go to the one further down from the library. But when Paola was in hospital with cancer, this is the place I came, because remember, this was the 90s. This was before we had massive internet and stuff like that. This was basically, everybody in the UK was on dial-up. So I came to this place and would go from the hospital to here every day and learn from I deep dive into the medical stuff, trying to figure out what the hell was going on with Paola, what the options were, who was the leading scientist who was researching Paola's illness, acute lymphoblastic leukemia with Philadelphia chromosome positive. And I did everything I could to know the disease. I became an expert in the disease, I really did, on how it works, how it auto initiates, how it affects your bone marrows, how you try to stop it. And so I spent for like almost 2 years, I spent yeah, 2 years, because we went from here then to Birmingham. Because Paola then went to Birmingham for the last parts of the treatment. But yeah, until we went to Birmingham, I spent literally every single waking moment that I wasn't at the hospital or looking to the house, looking after books in the hungry. Because the thing is, the kind of books I wanted to read weren't on the main floor. They weren't the science fiction, they weren't the normal. I was basically up with the medical students, reading up on blood diseases and blood cancers and hematology and phlebotomy and oh God, I was a man possessed. I was trying to cure Paola. We'll talk about this in the next video. But I don't want to be cut off, so I'll stop now. Hello again, should be back onto the next part now. I wanted to cure Paola's illness. I know that sounds completely fantastical that I wanted to do that, but you got to remember, I had a very high IQ. Not only did I have a 175 IQ, or maybe higher, due to the tests, but I also had a 98% problem solving ability. And so I put everything, I burnt myself out completely. I spent so much time reading up, talking to people who were working on it. I think I learned to speak Swedish because the scientist who was doing, I was pen pals with a blooming Swedish professor who was working on it or something. I'm trying to think of new ways to fix this. And it's something that I've always blamed myself for, that I can cure power. Now, rationally, I know the reasons why not. Logically, I know. It's just like saying, hey, don't smoke, it'll cause skin cancer. Just because you know doesn't mean it affects you. Paula was my love. The person I cared for more than anybody in the world. What was the point of my brain? What was the point of my abilities, my genius level stuff that I could do if I could not cure my wife? I went down a very, very dark path. Because Paula's leukemia, the acute lymphoblastic leukemia, was pretty much an unknown. I'm just going to turn on my main light. Oh, that light is brilliant. You can see it. You can see how the difference that light makes to where I've got to travel with the scooter. Yeah, if I put two of these, well, even one's enough. I think one's enough. That would definitely work during pitch black and that to allow me to see where I'm going. But yeah, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. It's a childhood leukemia. If you have it as a child, it's curable. It's got pretty good numbers, something like 70%, probably even better now, probably 80%, because your body can regenerate because you're a child. If you have it as a child, you're in a good position. If you get it as an adult, not so good. 70% chance of it coming back, only 30%. But if you've got Philadelphia chromosome positive, it will always come back. There is no way to stop it from coming back, which really sucks. So you have to go down a preventative path with the medication. And the medication basically is interferon and imatinib drugs, which basically stop it from auto-initiating, stop the leukemic cells numbers reaching a point where it's started to propagate again. So, but unfortunately those medications hit your body like a truck. They damage your kidneys, your liver. They can cause diabetes. They can damage your immune system. You're on them because if you're not on them, you're dead in 6 months. But most people, these drugs are used for other things, and they usually only give them for like 3 months. Paula was on it for 18 years. It damaged every organ in her body, from her skin, which started to actually deteriorate, to her lungs, her kidneys, her eyes, every part of her. I am so happy about this live. I mean, seriously, let me just turn it off. Yeah, You see the difference? We've got a little bit of light, which mainly you've seen the reflection of the light against here. That light doesn't reach the floor very well at all. But with this on,